Sometimes, personal growth necessitates ending certain relationships, including those with family or friends. This isn't about embracing loneliness, but about finding authenticity and inner peace. In this content, we will explore 8 key signs that indicate it might be time to cut off communication, even with your family. This process can be challenging and emotionally taxing, but it's often essential for your well-being and personal development. Watching this video until the end is crucial, as it may provide the insights and encouragement you need for this significant decision. This could be the turning point you've been waiting for. Let's dive in. 1. When they constantly exploit your goodwill. Abuse, regardless of its form, takes a severe toll on your mental and emotional well-being. Whether the harm is physical or emotional, it leaves wounds that impede your ability to live fully and vibrantly. Stoicism teaches us to protect the fortress of our mind, but this doesn't mean tolerating the intolerable. If you are consistently subjected to physical violence, or find yourself a victim of emotional manipulation and cruelty, your primary responsibility is to yourself. Sometimes, the bravest action is not to hold on but to recognize that true strength lies in safeguarding yourself. Your peace is sacred, and without inner happiness, you will not find happiness elsewhere. When your inner well-being is threatened, distance becomes a protective barrier, not a sign of weakness. Allowing persistent abuse to continue means letting someone else's darkness extinguish your light. 2. When they disregard your boundaries. Picture yourself nurturing a beautiful garden. You meticulously select the plants, tend to the soil, and lovingly care for each blossom. Genuine growth necessitates establishing boundaries. These boundaries enable certain plants to flourish while preventing invasive species from exhausting all resources. A flourishing garden thrives within clearly defined limits. Just as with your garden, your inner world merits respect and clearly outlined boundaries. These boundaries serve as guidelines to express your needs and set expectations for acceptable behavior. They safeguard your time, energy, and emotional well-being. When someone consistently disregards these boundaries, they resemble weeds infiltrating your garden, stifling the life you strive to cultivate. Permitting others to persistently overstep your boundaries depletes your strength and disrupts your equilibrium. It represents a subtle form of disrespect, implying that your needs are subordinate to theirs. Remember, a genuine friend, partner, or family member desires your flourishing, not your exhaustion. Establishing and reinforcing healthy boundaries is an act of self-nurturing. It guarantees that your inner garden, brimming with potential and self-worth, receives the nurturing light and sustenance it requires to thrive day by day. 3. When reciprocity is lacking. Stoics hold great respect for the virtue of reciprocity. They understood that a well-lived life involves giving to others and forming connections based on shared values and mutual support. However, like everything else, it's about finding balance. When the scale tilts too far in one direction in a relationship, feelings of resentment, exhaustion, and not feeling valued can take root. Picture a magnificent tree. Its branches reach up to the sky, its leaves basking in the sunlight. But all this visible growth is dependent on a complex root system below. The roots both take and give. While drawing nutrients from the soil, they also anchor the tree against storms. Healthy relationships reflect this natural reciprocity system. We offer support, encouragement, and love. In return, we receive understanding, validation, and a genuine sense of being valued. This exchange strengthens the connection and facilitates the growth of both individuals. However, if you constantly find yourself giving without receiving anything in return, you become like a depleted root system. While your efforts support the other person's development, your own needs remain unmet. This imbalance is extremely damaging. It erodes your self-worth subtly over time. Eventually, you may begin to question the value of your contributions or feel invisible in the relationship. Stoicism advocates for virtuous action, but enduring a constant state of sacrifice doesn't mean you have to tolerate it. True generosity flourishes when given freely, not constantly demanded. A healthy relationship should feel like a collaborative dance where there is room for both leadership and followership. It's a space where your efforts are acknowledged and appreciated, and you are also nourished in return. Stoics believed in surrounding ourselves with those who bring out the best in us. Remember, if a fundamental element like reciprocity is absent in a relationship, if what you give is taken for granted rather than celebrated, it's not a virtue to endure, but a call for reassessment. Your energy, kindness, and love are too valuable to be continuously poured into a well that never offers a drink in return. True friends and supportive partners are advocates for your goals, not obstacles. Stoics understood that the environment we surround ourselves with has a profound impact on our ability to grow. When faced with constant sabotage, preserving your impulse for growth within becomes essential. This doesn't necessarily mean cutting ties, but rather establishing firmer boundaries and becoming less sensitive to their discouraging effects. Remember, this is your journey, the steps you take, and the fire you stoke within yourself. 4. When a response eludes you. Stoics held the virtue of reciprocity in high regard. They recognized that a fulfilling life involves giving to others and fostering connections built on shared values and mutual support. However, like everything else, it's about striking a balance. When the scales tip too far in one direction within a relationship, feelings of resentment, exhaustion, and undervaluation can take hold. Picture a majestic tree. Its branches stretch towards the sky, its leaves bathed in sunlight, yet all this visible growth is intertwined with a complex root system below. Roots both take and give, providing stability during storms while absorbing nutrients from the soil. Healthy relationships mirror this natural reciprocity system. We offer support, encouragement, and love, and in return, we receive understanding, validation, and a true sense of being valued. This reciprocal exchange strengthens the bond and enables both individuals to flourish. However, if you constantly find yourself giving without receiving in return, you resemble a depleted root system. While your efforts may nurture the other person's growth, your own needs remain unfulfilled. This imbalance is profoundly detrimental, subtly eroding your self-worth over time. Eventually, you may begin to doubt the value of your contributions or feel unseen in the relationship. While Stoicism promotes virtuous action, enduring a perpetual state of self-sacrifice isn't the answer. True generosity thrives when freely given, not continuously demanded. A healthy relationship should resemble a collaborative dance, where both parties have the space to lead and follow. It's a space where your efforts are acknowledged, appreciated, and reciprocated. Stoics believed in surrounding themselves with individuals who bring out their best. Remember, if a relationship lacks the fundamental element of reciprocity, where your contributions are taken for granted rather than celebrated, it's not a virtue to endure but a call to reassess. Your energy, kindness, and love are too valuable to be continually poured into a well that never offers a drink in return. True friends and supportive partners champion your goals rather than hinder them. Stoics understood that the environment we immerse ourselves in profoundly impacts our ability to thrive. When faced with constant sabotage, preserving your inner drive for improvement becomes crucial. This doesn't necessarily entail severing ties but establishing firmer boundaries and becoming less susceptible to discouragement. Remember, this is your journey, the steps you take, and the inner flame you ignite. 5. If they elicit the worst in you. Envision your true essence as a serene, clear pool reflecting the light of virtue and inner strength. Stoics believed that this essence resided within each of us, guiding us to lead logical, compassionate, and self-disciplined lives. However, this inner tranquility can sometimes be disrupted, its calmness shattered by waves of negativity. Certain relationships possess the power to bring out our darkest traits, provoking anger, jealousy, or behaviors we later deeply regret. It's akin to stepping in front of a distorted amusement park mirror, where the reflection is unrecognizable from our true selves. Similarly, toxic dynamics can distort our perceptions, leading us to embody versions of ourselves that feel incongruent with our values. Stoics advocated for self-awareness and taking responsibility for our thoughts and actions. When a relationship consistently triggers our worst tendencies, it's akin to walking down a path strewn with hot coals. Initially, you may attempt to endure the pain, but with each step, the damage worsens, leaving you blistered and scarred. Walking away from unhealthy dynamics isn't an act of weakness but a demonstration of profound self-respect. You deserve relationships that mirror your authentic spirit. Don't hesitate to distance yourself from those who foster positivity, groundedness, and a commitment to virtue, instead of turning your tranquil pool into a tempestuous storm. Seeking connections that allow you to radiate your brightest is a testament to your stoic resilience and an expression of self-love. 6. When betrayal occurs. Trust is akin to a delicate mosaic, crafted with patience and precision, each fragment contributing to an intricate web of connections. In nurturing relationships, trust serves as the vital mortar holding everything together. However, like any masterpiece, a mosaic can fracture suddenly. Whether through deception, infidelity, or careless divulgence of confidences, betrayal inflicts deep wounds at the very core of a relationship. Picture a tender sapling, sheltered from harsh winds and nurtured with hopes of blossoming into a resilient tree. Yet, if its roots are continually trampled or its budding leaves plucked, the tree may never realize its full potential. Betrayal operates similarly in relationships, stunting growth, leaving scars, and undermining the foundation upon which the bond rests. Stoicism imparts the wisdom of discernment. We must recognize that not everything and everyone merits our trust. While some may apologize or pledge to change, genuine transformation demands consistent action over time. True commitment manifests through deeds, not mere words. When trust is repeatedly breached, attempting to reconstruct the mosaic with shattered and mismatched pieces yields only a fractured semblance of its potential. Thus, it becomes imperative to focus on actions rather than rhetoric. While it's painful to acknowledge that a relationship built on shaky ground may be unsustainable, it doesn't necessitate complete disconnection. True resilience lies not in enduring perpetual disappointment, but in summoning the courage to bestow love and trust upon those who have demonstrated their worthiness. 7. When responsibility is denied. The Stoics revered humility, recognizing its role in genuine wisdom and self-awareness. They understood that admitting one's mistakes and engaging in introspection are essential for personal growth and fostering healthy relationships. However, when an individual consistently refuses to acknowledge their errors or deflects blame onto others, they hinder not only their own progress but also the potential for growth within their relationships. Imagine traversing a challenging path with your eyes closed. Without the ability to see where you stumble, or adjust your course accordingly, you're destined to repeat the same mistakes. Similarly, someone who evades accountability fails to recognize their part in conflicts or the hurt they may cause, perpetuating a cycle of frustration and stagnation. Refusal to apologize isn't merely stubbornness. It reflects a fundamental lack of respect, indicating that the individual prioritizes their ego over acknowledging the pain they may have inflicted. Healthy relationships thrive on open communication, mutual understanding, and a shared commitment to resolving conflicts together. By disengaging from relationships marked by persistent denial of responsibility, you create space for connections grounded in honesty, respect, and mutual growth. 8. If your instincts signal something is amiss. Stoics acknowledge that wisdom extends beyond mere logic. Sometimes, it resides in our intuition. This inner knowing serves as a silent guide, offering warnings before our conscious minds fully comprehend the reasons. Learning to trust this internal compass is paramount, particularly in assessing the health of our relationships. Envision yourself as a seasoned explorer, attuned to the subtle cues of shifting tides or an impending storm. You rely on instincts, those instinctual nudges that lead you to safety or forewarn you of looming dangers. Similarly, toxic relationships can evoke signals within us, persistent feelings of unease, imbalance, or a gnawing sense that something isn't right. Discomfort acts as our internal alarm, signaling potential threats to our well-being. Ignoring this inner knowing is akin to disregarding distant thunder. While the storm may not have arrived, wisdom dictates seeking shelter while there's still time. It's not about succumbing to fear but exercising discernment. While no relationship is devoid of occasional discord, persistent unease signifies deeper disharmony. Trusting your instincts doesn't necessitate a litany of justifications for withdrawal. Your feelings are valid in themselves. Honor your intuition as a guide. It may steer you away from subtle toxicity toward connections that nurture a sense of grounding, safety, and belonging. As we conclude our discussion, we invite your feedback and suggestions for future content. If you found value in this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and exploring our Stoicism playlist. Until next time, stay wise.